Hello everybody, nice to see you again. It's me, Mariah. I'm Eddie's backup option, if you haven't guessed by now. But, hello, good evening. It's about 9:40 here in Germany right now. As I'm making this, Eddie is on vacation, so I'm just going to fill in for him today and pick up where he left off last week, talking about goals and setting goals for improving or starting a new language in the new year. Happy 2014, by the way. So, something Eddie talked about was focusing more and taking the language seriously, and I think that's just a good goal in general for anything you do all the time. Someone actually asked me recently, someone sent me a message asking if I had any tips about how to kind of start a new language, or what tips I might have for someone who needs to get motivated to start a new language. Motivation is the key to anything, my friends. So if you don't enjoy it, then it's going to be harder for you from the get-go. So a key might be to find fun exercises to do, watch movies in your target language, listen to happy music in your target language, anything that floats your boat, anything that catches your interest. If motivation is your goal for the new year, you gotta find something that you think is fun. For me, I love reading literature. As soon as I get a good enough grasp on grammar, as soon as my vocabulary is big enough, I'll grab the nearest book I can find. For German, the first literature I started reading was poetry from Rilke. Actually, that's what really sucked me into it, was poetry from Rilke. So I like literature. I like the older stuff. I like the kind of more brainy stuff when I'm learning a language, when I'm working on my language skills. Obviously, that's not going to work for somebody who hates to read or who doesn't like older books, so that's not something I would recommend for you. So maybe goal number one for everybody, myself included, when it comes to doing my French homework, is find the motivation and make it fun. Speaking of French, I recently wrote up a little message to a Parisian friend of mine, but I'm shaky on my French grammar. I'm still at a rather beginning level when it comes to anything aside from reading. My active French is still very low, very beginner. So I actually sent the message to Eddie first to have him proofread it, and although I was proud of myself that I got the word order right, because I tend to use German word order when I write French, there were more grammatical mistakes than I would like. So a goal for me in 2014 is to really improve my French, because I tend to just kind of brush it off as the easier language that I'm learning at the moment, so I don't give it as much attention as I should, and then I pay for it later. Now, the language that does demand a little bit more of my attention would be my Turkish. Yes, this is a Turkish grammar book in German. I am in a class at the Volkshochschule at the community college here in Heidelberg, but we only have one more class left before a month-long break. So it's really up to me in the month after this next class to go over my vocabulary and make sure I understand the grammar, find sources to listen to, maybe watch some Turkish movies, read some Turkish newspapers, Turkish children's books, just to reinforce what I already know, and then maybe bring myself a little bit further before we go into this next semester of Turkish after our break. Because Turkish is actually something, whereas with French I'm kind of learning for fun, Turkish is something I'm going to eventually need later, when I want to study Turkish German authors. So I should work on that. That's an important goal. Actually, an immediate goal of mine, this is coming up at the end of March. I'm going to retake a German language proficiency test. It's called the DSH, the Deutsche Sprachprüfung für den Hochschulzugang, the German language test for admittance to higher education. I took it at the end of September, and I scored fairly well on it. The highest score is a 3, meaning you are a German language wizard, and you could probably beat Angela Merkel in a tongue twister contest. I didn't get a 3, I got a 2, which means you're pretty good at this German thing. Just don't try and study medicine. So, I would like to advance to a level 3. I don't have to retake this test. A 2 is enough for my field of study at the university, Germanistik. But I want the 3. Kinda just to say I did. So, for that, especially with my exams and my German classes coming up, I need to really buckle down and focus. Focusing is something I'm really bad at. I get distracted by music, I see some pretty picture on Tumblr, I message somebody on Skype, and then I don't focus. So that's something I really need to work on. That's a big goal for me in 2014, along with reaching conversational or fluency level in French, and having a better understanding of Turkish, and getting a 3 on this test. Just a basis goal for me in 2014 is to, like Eddie, take my work more seriously. Language is something I love, but I should maybe act more like I love it, because sometimes I kind of neglect it, and then it bites me in the butt later when I try and write something or read something, and I know I should be able to understand it, and I look at it and I go, so, all around goal for 2014, find more motivation, stay more focused, learn more language. And maybe, as a reward to myself, if I complete all of these goals that I just listed, maybe I'll start something new. Just the cherry on top of 2014 would be to maybe start something new. But that is in the future. So maybe I'll tell you more about that next year. Alright. So, good luck to you and all your language learning goals. Ja, viel Glück und viele Liebe aus Deutschland. Also, bis zum nächsten Mal. Wir sehen uns. Bye.